Hello, guys. Welcome back to our podcast, People Bring Profit. Thank you, Kim and Justin, joining me around this little round table, and we're going to tackle a tough topic that we're all talking about. Every news network, everywhere you go, is about inflation. Yeah. And it's tough. It is tough for all of us right now on the ops side, on the business side of everything, from everything we're doing. And we're going to try to share some nuggets of how we see it and kind of how we're tackling it. Just real quickly, high level stuff. Yeah. Hopefully that you can, I know you guys are out there working hard on what you're trying to do and what you're looking to do different. But this is something that we spend a lot of time on. Mm-hmm. All you guys, around this table. So right now the topic is inflation, and it's everybody's taking price. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. And it's a trickle down effect. Gas prices, of course, went up. Trucks are costing more to put on the road. Labor's gone up. The cardboard box gone up. Everything's gone up.
Utilities.
Energy. Gone up, power. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So it's a fight right now, and I'm proud to say that the way our team and the way we have attacked it. Justin, you brought it to my attention a while back when you came in and showed me a P&L and said, hey, everybody, and I've heard it through our calls with our franchisors of other companies and other franchisees where they've lost about 8 cents on the dollar. We're proud to say that we kind of were fighting that and keeping about 4 cents back in our pocket. Mm-hmm. So losing only about 4% pennies. And we talk about raising pricing, man, right?
And you say everybody. We went through COVID and the pandemic, and I think something special about Aspire to Be is we were good stewards and wanted to create value for people who were going through hard times, and we didn't take price the entire time. So we were able to not lose those 8 pennies while giving back to our guests and making sure that they were taken care of. But now is the time. It's been forced through our vendors and supply chain, and to stay in business, we have to take price now. So that's where we're at.
And that's what's tough out there. It's tough because people are out there saying, these people keep raising pricing. But at the end of the day, we're in it to make money, right? And to make our banks happy, and you've got to make people happy and pay our bills. Yeah. Just as everybody does at home, just as everybody at home out there, as their costs go up, they go to the grocery store, the gas station, and vacations. They got to cut back a little bit in some areas. Yeah. And that's what I think that we've done really well, that I'm proud of us, is we, instead of just raising prices, we kind of cut back on different areas that we could. And so taking price, we had to. We did it. But then we also went back and focused on this is about the value. And we challenged our team and our leadership team out in the fields that it's if we're going to raise our pricing, we really got to get back down to basics, and we got to give that guest that walks in our stores the experience of a lifetime, kind of a back of the reality of great hospitality. Because I've always said this in our meetings. I've said this in upper level meetings that I've been with in different calls, that it's not all about, when people get their check, their invoice, they're to pay at the end of their bill, and they look at it, they don't sit here and say, wow, that's way too much money, when they had a great experience, right? When they had a great experience, when they say, at times prices have gone up, but when they got great service, tables were clean, food was great, the food came out fast, the beer was cold, everything was delivered in a great manner, they don't mind paying a little bit more when they get that. And I've seen that read in socials. I've read that all over the internet. People say, hey, I understand they got to take pricing. And I kind of sum it up this way in our meeting. It's like when when you go to a place and something's shut down and it's not working correctly, you feel like, well, I got ripped off. Because I paid this fee to go to this place and it wasn't working correctly. Everything wasn't working. Well, I didn't get a discount on that. So you just got to make sure you run that correctly, that you're giving great hospitality and great service. So it's not just taking pricing. If you do take pricing, make sure you get everything working correctly,
Yeah. So as we sat around that table and we said we're being forced to raise our prices, we had no other choice. We didn't just stop there. We came up with, as a leadership team, getting back to the basics and what did that mean to us and what did that mean to our team. And that was getting focused in on the customer, getting focused in on our employees, providing for our customers. And we just ran with the game plan from there.
Yeah.
And so that's when operations came in, and operations said, okay, we're going to refocus ourselves on hospitality and creating a great experience from the time the customer walked in the door to them not being, yes, they're going to notice the price increase, but they're also going to get that great high level of experience while they're with us.
Yeah.
It was an approach that I've never been familiar with. Coming from a corporate world, you run the numbers, you look at what you need to take price on. That was the easiest part of this exercise.
Yeah.
Leading with creating value, and the way that you approach this whole exercise is when you send a spreadsheet and say, these are the prices we're taking, there's, our frontline workers are going to have to deal with the result of that, and folks coming in and paying 50 cents more, $1 more on certain items. So that the teaching and the learning and the lesson and the play right from the start was, how do we increase our value? And definitely our mission was get back to the steps of service.
Yeah.
How are we faster? How are we opening the front door with them? And when they walk away, they need to make sure that we're on the positive column list, and they didn't have any reason whatsoever, because it only takes one.
Yeah.
Right? It only takes one instance of waiting a little bit longer on your payment, and you could have gotten it perfect to ruin that. So we focused on value and experience in an initiative that is typically driven by just receiving a spreadsheet and changing numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I want to throw out to everybody out there, imagine this, right? You're raising your pricing. Everybody is, from restaurants to cars to movie theaters. Everybody's raising their pricing. So let's say the next newest phone comes out. Which we know the new iPhone always comes out every year, but it always goes up in price, right, Justin? New laptops you just bought for us go up in price, but we looked at see what are we getting different? Mm-hmm. What's different on it? Oh, it's a better camera. Oh, it's a faster processor. So when you as a guest or as a consumer, you're buying this product and you don't mind paying more because you know you're getting more. So that's where I think people need to look at it. Like, I see a lot of people focusing on raising price. Should we not give them, 6 mozzarella sticks? Let's give them 5, instead of raising prices. But what are you doing in the people? Mm-hmm. What are you doing to the people that come in the door? What are you doing extra for them? Since you're charging more, we need to raise our game more. Right? Yeah. We need to do a better job. Like you said, we need to focus on the people.
And we do that through tech, right? I mean, one of the levers that we pull is technology.
Yeah.
And making sure that we've got the right technology guest-facing and back-of-house in our stores. So the guest-facing technology is, are you looking into tablets? Are you looking into more effective ways to ring in orders, get that order into the kitchen, get it cooked faster, and then ultimately getting people cashed out really efficiently so they can go on their way. So technology is a really, really big piece of this on top of the human element.
Yeah.
Because we want to respect their time.
Yeah.
While they're with us.
And that's what's cool about it, because when we raise in price, and we also, as a team, we go back and we look at what can we do for the consumer, adding tablets. That means it costs us a lot of money to do that, but it's getting the consumer their drinks faster. It's helping the server get more efficient in what she's doing, and she can wait on that table, in a faster way and in a nicer way too, because she's not running around so crazy all the time.
Be in tune with what your business needs are and what your customers are asking for. Time to receive order and quality of food are 2 items in our business we have to pay utmost attention to. So we've got to be capitalizing on them if we ever think about raising, price. And that's what we led with, and tech can help us with that.
Yeah. So I think that's important. Again, go back to the thing to say that if you're going to raise pricing, also go look at the other side. What can you do different for your guest? If you're going to take that 10 cents, 50 cents, $1, whatever you're raising your products up to, go back and see what you can do different internally in the store that can give that person a better experience, the better for their value, and they will not notice the increase that you did more. I think
front of house people drive our profits, and we'll start every podcast and every initiative talking about that. But to fight inflation, there's a ton of back of house work that we did.
Yeah.
There was a ton of back of house initiatives that we worked on.
Well, that we had to hone in on. Yeah.
And I think that what y'all did is also too, we attacked the op statement. Mm-hmm. So it's not just raising pricing, it's going back and trying to recoup some of that on the ops side instead of passing that to the consumer so much, right?
Oh, absolutely. We went line item by line items to see where we can cut the fat, so to speak, and hone in on those wasteful spendings and operation. Operations was challenged by waste. we challenged them, hey, is there any way that we can cut down on waste? We challenged them operationally. Is there any way that we can not turn on the lights at 9 a.m.? Let's turn on the lights right before the customer gets in the door because our energy bill has doubled. And they did that. They absolutely came to the table with those type of things.
And a lot of those were P&L reviews and reacting to things that happened 2, 3, 4 months ago. So when we say kind of op statement, meaning like, can I give my team every single week a really good snapshot of what they did last week, so next week they can make some really good business decisions on how we're going to impact labor just a little bit, or make a better forecast, or make a better schedule, or place a better food inventory because our COGS are just a little bit off. And the op statement for us, and the tool that you need to really consider, is, do you have a snapshot of what you did last week? All of your controllable costs, and do you have a really close idea to a small percent on what that cash flow looked like? And we paid special attention to that. So we're so front facing as a company, but we do know and responsibly on the back end how we performed each and every week. And then we collaborate and get everybody together and talk about those losses and figure out how we're going to overcome them. And through our ops statement, that's been a very, very helpful tool for us. But you have to know those numbers.
Yeah. And I think, you said week over week, which is very important, because back in the day, we didn't have to do week over week. Week over week wasn't as important as it is now. During this inflation, week over week is very important. Used to, we could do like a 4-week look back period and make adjustments. But now it's so important during these times that we do that very as hone in as we can possibly do as a leadership team week over week. That's where we are winning.
If you're not, trucks aren't showing up and prices are drastically changing and you're not finding out until a month later. There's so much with supply chain in every industry right now that's just week over week changing. And we have to be able to identify those things and react on them and act on them, from what we're not getting on an invoice to, what's running low, all of the above, because the supply chain is just so difficult to deal with. So week over week. And then when we're forecasting, looking back at last year isn't as meaningful. You're absolutely right, as it used to be.
No.
And that's what's tough is when you go back and look at sales data, and you go back and look, that COVID threw all that out when you're talking about sales volume.
Sure.
But then cost, you used to go look a year, month over month, like, it's so different. It changes now. It pretty much not by a month, it changes by the day. What's also important too, that you're out there is we were so bad about talking about percentages. We didn't talk about real dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one.
Yes.
We walked into the back of house, and I've seen it before, and you look at like a board and you just want to celebrate and high five the heck out of it. But it's things that not everybody understands and relates to. True. So a lot of what you need to do with inflation is know your audience. And if you're losing $5 sitting on the floor, everybody can resonate with that. But if that's 0.34% of a GL code they're not familiar with, you're not going to make a meaningful move there.
Is that like a basis points?
Basis points, sure. And at this table, we can go basis points all day. But are your cooks or are your frontline workers, do they understand what we're talking about? When you get into, if you can get to the point where you've got the outliers in your company there and you know what you need to focus on, your job is to then relate to the people that actually have to make that change.
I want to go back and say this and why it's important, this is how my mind works, right? It's like when you talk, even me, you use basis points. It's like, let me put that in a mathematical form of real dollars.
Yeah.
I think I told my algebra teacher, I don't need algebra. I just needed to learn how to make 1 + 1 = $10.
I think you did.
There you go.
I think I did say. Let's back up. It wasn't algebra. It was pre-algebra. Okay. but so let me use something in real time. And what makes it important that your people know this. Mm-hmm. It's like, I remember we were having a food cost issue in one of the stores. Like, man, your variance is way off, your food cost is off, or your waste is a lot too. And so we kind of put some pressure on one of these stores. And it was one of our high volume stores. And I went in there one day and they were so proud of themselves. They put a waste bucket by the expo, the inside expo. And he's like, Chris, we are so tracking our waste. I'm like, oh, how are you doing that? Oh, we got this bucket. And it was almost filled with
I know, you get the anxiety of like, oh my goodness.
And they were so excited. Yeah. It's like, okay. And they're like, yeah, so we can now know what we're losing.
And you don't see that. You don't see those buckets every day. They're there.
Yeah, they're there.
But until you see it.
Well, the bucket's normally the trash can where they're throwing it in there. But it's like, okay, guys, what are we doing? We know what it is. We knew what it is. The paperwork was telling us, but what are we doing about the bucket? You know, but then they're like, oh, but we're going to track it now. We can kind of, but okay, hold on. Let me pull some money out of my wallet and throw in the garbage can too. Because that's, I don't know how many boneless that is, but let's say $22 worth of boneless.
Yeah.
What are you doing throwing $22 in the trash? I'm digging it out. No, that's what you just threw away. So it's important that we talk about real dollars.
And with that exercise, every level needs to identify where the issue is. So that forced the cooks. I mean, when there was a full bucket, you knew the group of folks that weren't, dropping the appropriate amount, or at the end of the rush dropped too many. And it was exposing exactly what was going on so the managers could get in there and make a change. But it was eye-opening.
Well, as a business owner and in whatever business you're in, it's just like your house, you cut your budget when things increase, or so you might not be going to Disney for 7 days. You're only going to go to Disney for 4 because that's the cost. The same thing in your business. You really need to pay attention to that, because now you look at your P&Ls, and before COVID, we all have these lines, and you would say, this is as much as we can spend on occupational. This is as much as we can spend on, labor, food costs. But we also had a waistline. Mm-hmm. We all gave them a waistline. Well, guess what? We might have gave them 1% waste. I don't know. Can't remember what those numbers used to be. But now we need to cut that to 0.5% or whatever, because now and keep increasing pricing to the guest, you need to also go in behind it and fix from behind. Fix the numbers that people don't see, that the guests can't see. Help save that dollar from just going to the guest, because a lot of people just keep raising their price, but they're not actually looking below where your P&L's at, that you can save some numbers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we did the P&L.
Y'all scrub that baby down. Y'all scrubbed it like all the time. Y'all continue to scrub it.
Yes. Yeah, we do. And it's so important. It's the most important thing that you can do right now, as far as our department and accounting, that we can do to assist operations in their day-to-day to make their targets that they're set within the company. Yeah,
I think y'all even scrubbed the office account a little bit too much too. That the refrigerator's not as cool drinks as it used to be. You need to drink tap water, Chris. No more bottled water in this place. No, but that's what you have to do, Kimberly.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's what you challenge us every day in this office. So, when you talk about that, and it's when you talk about the ops statement, y'all spend a lot of time on it and just really working it, and you got to really focus on it. Stuff like that. So, is there anything else that you want to kind of throw out there about this topic? It's a hard topic. It's inflation.
Yeah, it is. It's a hard topic. And I'll say this too, is not only did we go to after we took price and we focused in on operations and the guest experience, we did, I'm going to bring the HR element in this too. We did train our servers that, hey, you might get the question that wings have increased, boneless increased, beers increased. But we educated our servers as well to have that conversation with the guests, and we told them, hey, this is the most important time right now for you to be on your game as a server, because at the end of the day, we're cutting into their pockets too. We took price, but actually our industry, the service industry, that's going to feed down to our servers too. And so they're also going to have to be on their game. They're going to have to tackle this in their own way. Inflation within their own way. Yeah. As a company, we're doing it, but also our employees that serve this industry, they're also going to have to do it.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's so important that we did do that. In Justin's team, we put a lot of pressure on them to do that, because and we still. I read an email yesterday about tipping. That tipping's gone down, and our servers are getting upset because there's somebody's coming in and not even tipping them, and that's important because, again, guests are still going out. They're slowed down a little bit, but people are so now they still might be eating, but the 20%'s gone to 10%, or the 10%'s gone to nothing now. So it's important that you really pour into those, your tables or your whoever's out there, your business, that you understand that you need to teach your staff that there's other ways that they can fight inflation. Because just on the ops side, man, I think we took beer costs. We fought that. Mm-hmm. We fought raising the beer cost, because we try to do it one time a year. But we took price or price was passed on to us almost, I think, 4 times this year.
Before we even took the price. Yeah. And in 1 calendar year. Absolutely.
And normally we just used to take 1 or twice a year, but now our big distributors are going up to us 4 times. So it's just, and it's probably going to hit us again.
Yeah,
so
and my point to that was it not only affects us as a business, but it's a trickle-down effect to all of each level of business, operations, employees, everything is affected by inflation during these times.
Yeah, so it's important that I think at the end that we focus on it's not just us in the office taking price. There's so many other levers.
You're going to get a spreadsheet that says if we take this price, you're going to gain 5% in sales.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth.
No.
The truth is you need to go to the drawing board to gain all of those 5% of sales. And you do that through creating awesome value, investing in technology where it makes sense and having really good systems in the back of house and week over week making awesome business decisions and giving your folks the tools to achieve that 5%.
Yeah.
You're just not going to automatically get it.
Yeah, you nailed that.
Yeah. That's a boom. That's a nugget right there that you said. Justin, anything else that y'all want to share before we close this one up?
No, I think.
I mean, it's all going to get better. It's going to get better as it gets worse, right? Because we've become better at dealing with supply chain. We've become better at, instead of losing 8, we're going to lose 4. And next year, we're going to lose 3.5 or 3, because that's what we're aspiring to be better next year than this year and tomorrow than today. And our people drive a lot of that, even though it's a spreadsheet. And it's a really difficult conversation for everybody. And hopefully there's just a couple nuggets of, awesomeness in this convo that, makes taking price a little bit easy for you.
Yeah. And know it has to be done.
It has to be done.
You're going to have to take price, but don't just take price on your
have
pricing.
a plan for what that goal is on that spreadsheet that you get.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Attack pricing on both sides. Attack the pricing that you're pushing out to the guest, and attack pricing on the side of you too, so that you don't have to pass that dollar. Maybe you can only pass 50 cents off to them. So it's important. And Justin, you nailed that too on that point. Is people ask us all the time, like, what's your what's the plan? What's the 2-year plan? What's the 5-year plan? Man, with COVID, I think that's shown us all. We better always expect the unexpected. And this isn't going to stop. And if it does, we're still fighting it, and it'll be better for us, even better, in the future for us.
We will always have a plan with Kim on our side.
Yeah,
always.
That's what I was going to say. The point is have a plan. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for listening, guys. Again, join us on Spotify, on Apple, right? And look at our linking pages. We're all over the place. Come join us and make comments, please. I mean, we want to hear stuff that we want to talk about. Again, we sit here and in this office and we talk about topics that we want to bring up and what we enjoy talking about or what we can share. But there's a lot of topics out there that we might be missing over that we really want to hear, which you want to hear from us and what our how we look at things in this. So thank you again, and I appreciate you girls, boys, for enjoying us. And and we'll see you soon on the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.